Oh, hey guys. Long time no see. It's been about 4 months since my last video. Where have you guys been? Now that you are back in the YouTube studio of Anfernee McLemore, I have a couple things I want to share with you guys. And most importantly, it's going to be the topic of this video. It's going to be why I quit the stock market. Well, maybe not in the way that you think. So in the past few months, a couple of changes has happened that I do plan on going over in a couple videos in the future. But most decidedly, the most recent thing I've done is read this small book called The Richest Man In Babylon, which has given me some rich insights of how I now treat my money. So if you are new to the channel by some odd reason and you haven't watched a video of mine before, my name is Anfernee McLemore. I make videos about personal finance, investing, and side hustles. And if you stick around and watch this video, I'm pretty sure you're going to find a little bit of value in it. So just go ahead and hit that like button in advance just to make me a little bit happy. But let's get into the purpose of this video. Let's talk about why I quit the stock market, or in the ways that I feel like I quit the stock market. So, and how I'm going to explain this is that why I decided to momentarily stop investing in the stock market. And excuse me if I sound a little bit stuffy. I've had the flu for the past week, so it's been a little bit rough for your boy. But as you guys may or may not know, I went on about a 290-day journey of where I was investing about $35 a day, showing you guys how to build a $10,000 Robinhood portfolio. Now, I could have provided a little bit more updates of that on the channel, but it starts to get a little bit repetitive in my eyes. But I will go ahead and create a playlist if you want to watch that series all the way from start to finish. But once that challenge finished, I not only stopped investing in that Robinhood portfolio, but I stopped investing in all of my portfolios altogether, other than the 401k that is attached to the job that I work. And the reason for that closely follow the principles that I learned in this book called The Richest Man in Babylon. And to go through the principles that I learned in the book, one of the things that I learned when reading this book is that there really are only 7 simple rules to money. And the first of those rules, as worded in the book, is start thy purse to fattening, which basically means that you need to start saving money as your first rule. And what this can mean in Dave Ramsey terms is that you build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. For someone like me whose expenses can range anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a month, this can be an emergency fund of $5,000 to $15,000. But as someone who may be a little bit newer on their investing journey, I would say just get to a point where you have saved $1,000 in a savings account that is easily accessible, and that way you won't be living in constant fear of the next emergency. I read an article a few months ago, maybe a few years ago, that said most Americans, over 50% of Americans, cannot cover a $500 emergency expense if it happened to them today. If you find yourself in that boat, then one of the first things that you need to do is start thy purse to fattening, or just start to save a little bit of money. But this isn't the reason why I stopped investing in the stock market, but I will get to that before the end of this video, so stick around for that. But the second simple rule of money that I learned from the book was to control thy expenditures, which basically means to budget your money and control where you're spending your money. I talk about this a good bit, but I think that the most effective way that I have found to use over the years was a Google Sheet spreadsheet. I've done budgeting with the personal finance apps, I've done budgeting on pen and paper, but to me, someone who likes full transparency in their budget to see what they can spend, what they can adjust, what money they're bringing in, I think an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheet spreadsheet provides the most flexibility and the most controllability over the budget. But whatever way you decide to budget, as long as you are budgeting, as long as you are knowing what money you are bringing in and what is going out, and you have somewhat of a control over that, then you will be in full control of step 2. And then moving on to the third simple rule of money, and this is actually the rule that led me to stop investing in the stock market, and this rule says to control thy debt. Now, I have had an iffy journey with debt in the past on this channel. At some point early in my investing career, I read the book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and he makes it really clear that good debt is not a bad thing, meaning that debt used for investing purposes is not necessarily considered bad debt. However, debt used for things like a personal house, a personal car is considered bad debt. But as I started going further along and started expanding into different personal finance styles, I've somehow landed and attached myself more to the Dave Ramsey approach, where I would rather be closer to debt free altogether rather than using debt for investing purposes. There is a little bit of biblical attachments to this as well that I'll share in some of my other videos, but basically in this rule, you want to start to reduce your debt. Now, in my personal life, the way that I have been doing this over the past year is paying off the auto loans on the 2 Teslas that I own. I had 2 Tesla Model Ys that had a combined debt balance of about $120,000. And as of today, after paying that back for almost a year, that balance is right around $42,000, with one of them paid off completely. And I plan on continuing to prioritize these debt payments rather than invest in the stock market, so that I can, for one, take off that monthly payment off of my balance sheet, but secondly, just take off the debt completely and not plans to get in any new debt in the future. I may be making a couple videos about this debt journey in the future, so stick around for that if you want to see those. But moving on to the fourth simple rule of money, this one is to guard thy treasures, which means to me to avoid lottery investments. And these investments are basically things that you think are too good to be true. If someone offers you an opportunity that you can invest $100 to get $10,000 back in a day, such as things like the Cash App scam or lottery tickets in general, it is in your safest bet, or in my opinion, it would be in my safest bet, because I'm speaking for myself, to avoid these investments altogether, because I find that more often than not, you will be losing money before you are the 1 in 1 million to actually make it. Yes, there are people who actually get rich from lottery tickets. Yes, there are people who actually don't go to jail for scamming Cash App. However, the probability and the possibility of negative effects is a little bit too high for my personal comfort zone. As I'm getting a little bit older, I'm starting to be a little bit more conservative in my investment style. I just turned 26 this year. I started this channel when I was 21, so that's about 5 years worth of investment growth that I've gone through. And I think personally that the more conservative style, while it may be less exciting, while it may grow less, overall is a little bit more consistent in my opinion. And I think that because it is more consistent, it is more predictable, and it allows me to feel like I have more control over my money. And then moving to the fifth simple rule of money that is taught in The Richest Man in Babylon, this rule is going to be to make thy dwelling a profitable investment, which all in all means to own your home. And if you watch some of my older videos, this studio has changed over time. My first video on this YouTube channel was in an apartment that me and my girlfriend at the time co-rented, and then we moved on to renting a house. After that, we bought our first home, which I actually recorded YouTube videos in the basement for 2 years, and now we moved to a different city, and with the interest rate so high, we are renting a house once again. So one of the priorities on my personal balance sheet right now, while paying off debt, is number one. The second one is going to be to also save up a down payment for a single family home. And this process will go a lot quicker if I sold all the investments that I have already and just use them toward the debt that we have altogether. But I am a fan of investing early and investing often. So whatever I have invested right now, I am not going to touch, but I will continue to invest any new money that I get into one of two of these investment options. And I believe that owning your home is so important because the math shows that if you decide to live in a city for over 7 years, or live in a place for over 7 years, that it is more beneficial for you to have a mortgage and pay down that mortgage than it would be to rent. If you find yourself moving every 2 to 3 years like we have been for the last 6 years, then it would be more beneficial to rent unless you're keeping it as a rental property, because you don't have to go through the process of down payments and closing costs and all the things that come with getting a mortgage. And if you're renting, you have a security deposit that you may get back that would be a little bit cheaper. And for full transparency, going forward, I do plan on using a 20% down payment on about a $400,000 house in the state of Alabama. So that's going to be about $80-ish thousand when me and my family do decide to buy our next home. The reason for that is that you pay less in PMI when you put a 20% down payment, as well as you could possibly get a better rate if you have more cash down. But that leads me right into the sixth simple rule of money as taught in The Richest Man in Babylon, and that is to ensure a future income. And you can ensure a future income in a few different ways. One of the ways that I've been talking about on the channel for a while that I will continue to promote is by starting a Roth IRA. And by starting a Roth IRA, you can contribute about $6,000 to $7,000 a year into it, and any gains that you get from your investments, you can take out tax-free at retirement. And I will be making a new video, as I tend to do every year, of a detailed process of how to set up a Roth IRA. To me personally, these aren't the most exciting videos to create, but I do think that really getting into the weeds sometime and actually showing the process of how to set it up, what to do, is really beneficial to a lot of people, and it is one of the reasons why I continue to make those videos every year. But another way that you can ensure future income is by getting life insurance or disability insurance in case something happens. You really just want to protect yourself from yourself so that you don't get old and don't have any money at all, or just you don't have enough money to fund the lifestyle that you have become accustomed to. And one of my second favorite ways to ensure future income is going to be by owning real estate or rental properties in general. Me and my family do still own that first house that we bought, which we now have converted into a rental property that now brings us in about $1,600 a month, which is a fair market rate, or maybe a little bit below fair market rate in the state of Alabama. So ensuring a future income as well as working on your current income will work wonders in your personal financial health. And then the last simple rule of money that I learned by reading this book called The Richest Man in Babylon is going to be improve thy ability to earn. Now, a lot of us can be stubborn. I can be stubborn as well. And once you start to do something, you tend to forget that you can actually be better at that thing by studying other people, by studying other things. And all this rule is actually saying is that continue to try to be wiser, continue to try to be smarter, continue to do whatever you're doing, but make it 1% better each time. As you learn, you will grow. As you grow, you become more productive, more more efficient. And as you do all of these things, you will have the ability to make more money. And those are the 7 simple rules of money that I learned in The Richest Man in Babylon. If you find any kind of value in this video, I will put a link to this book in the description. Also hit that like button for your boy, as it really does help the channel out. For the OGs on the channel, I have created a plan to start uploading 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as well as a new Side Hustle Saturday video on Saturdays, which I'm really excited about. One of my favorite series ever on the channel was Side Hustle Saturdays, but I stopped doing it for some reason, but I will be bringing those back. So stay tuned for those videos. Hit the subscribe button if you want to keep up with the videos, and if you want to start to see a behind the scenes look on this YouTube channel, go over to TikTok, where I will put a link in the description, where I will be uploading 6 times a week of the journey of getting this YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much. I'm so excited to be back here posting on the channel, and I will see you in the next, guys.